Okay, let's talk about a command that sounds, well, a little scary. The kill command. But I promise you, it's not as intense as it sounds. In fact, it's one of the most useful tools you've got, and by the end of this, you're going to be using it like a total pro.
We've all been there, right? You're deep in your work, you go to click on something, and nothing. The program is just completely stuck. You get that spinning wheel of death, the not responding message. It is so frustrating. Well, what if I told you there's a super powerful command line tool that can fix that exact problem?
So, to really get what kill does, we need to talk about something called signals. Honestly, the best way to think about a signal is like a tiny digital postcard. Your computer's operating system sends these little postcards to running programs all the time. And on that postcard is a really simple message, like, hey, time to close up shop, or maybe just pause for a sec. It's basically how your computer talks to its own software.
But here's the thing. Not all of these postcards are created equal. When it comes to stopping a program, there are two main types of signals you'll use, and they have, let's just say, very different personalities. You can think of it as choosing between a polite handshake and a very heavy hammer.
On one side, you've got SIGTERM. That's short for terminate. This is your handshake. It's the polite postcard that asks a program to please shut down. It gives it a chance to save its work, clean up after itself, and close gracefully. But on the other side, you have SIGKILL. And yeah, that's the hammer. It doesn't ask, it demands. It tells the program to stop, right now. And here's the crucial part. A program can actually be written to ignore the polite SIGTERM handshake, but no program, I mean no program, can ignore the SIGKILL hammer.
So, how do you send that polite handshake? It's actually super simple. You just type kill and then the program's process ID, or PID. You can think of the PID as a unique address for that program. See, every single thing running on your computer has one. So when you do this, you're telling the system exactly which address to send that please close nicely postcard to. And just typing kill like this sends that polite SIGTERM signal by default.
But what if that polite request doesn't work? What if the program is so broken, so completely frozen, that it can't even respond to the postcard? Well, that's when you bring out the hammer. By adding a -9, you're telling the kill command to send a different signal, signal number 9, which is our friend SIGKILL. This is the big one. It's the unblockable, stop right now, I'm not kidding command that nothing can ignore.
Okay, so now you've got two tools in your toolkit, a handshake and a hammer. So, which one should you use, and when? Well, the best practice is a really simple and safe method that I like to call the 3-second rule. It's the absolute best way to make sure you're doing things in the right order.
Here's how it works. It's just a simple 3-step process. First, you always try the polite handshake, just a normal kill command, no -9. Then you give the program a moment to process that. Wait about 3 seconds, let it shut down properly. This is super important because it helps prevent data loss. If, after those few seconds, that stubborn program is still running, then and only then do you bring out the hammer. Kill -9. This is, hands down, the safest way to deal with misbehaving apps.
All right, time for a little power user tip. What if it's not just one little window that's frozen, but an entire application? Like you've got 5 different Firefox windows open, and the whole browser just grinds to a halt. Trying to find the PID for every single one of those would be a total nightmare. But luckily, there's a much easier way.
And that way is kill all. It does exactly what it sounds like it does. Instead of hunting down a specific process ID number, you just give it the name of the program, like Firefox. This one simple command will send that polite SIGTERM signal to every single Firefox process running on your machine. Seriously, it's a massive time saver for when a whole app just gives up.
And there you have it. You now have total control over any program that decides to act up. You know the difference between the polite handshake and the heavy hammer. You know the safe 3-second rule for using them, and you even know how to shut down a whole application at once. But, mastering processes isn't just about stopping them. What about starting them? What if you want to kick off a really long task, but you don't want it to tie up your terminal? That's the magic of running programs in the background, and we're going to cover exactly that in our next explainer.